NoDQ.com. NoDQ.com.
NoDQ.com.
NoDQ.com.
NoDQ.com.
NoDQ.com.
NoDQ.com.
NoDQ.com.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ video here on the YouTube channel. Thank you guys for checking out today's video. If you have a few moments of your time, head over to NoDQ.com. There's a link in the description box, a direct link where you can watch the full-length version of today's video. And I got a lot of stuff to talk about today. You'll definitely want to check that out. Over 20 minutes of discussion today on the full-length video. So check it out, NoDQ.com. But for those of you that are watching the short version, let's get started. First one today comes from my own personal favorite jobber, Mr. Daniel Jobber. What did you make of the Kalisto, Strowman, and Roman Reigns segment? Very weird if Strowman has actually hurt even a rotator cuff. The thing I find interesting, and by the way, for those of you that missed it, Braun Strowman is in fact legitimately injured. I have a few reports up on NoDQ.com regarding Strowman's injury. You can check that out. The thing I find interesting is that WWE would announce in storyline that Strowman has a torn rotator cuff, which is an injury that is pretty serious. It usually takes several months of recovery time. Why not just say that he has an injured elbow? The fact is, WWE just found out about this injury. They actually found out about it right before Raw went on the air, the day of the show. So they had to come up with something right away to write Strowman out of the storylines for the time being. For what it was and under the circumstances, I thought that it was alright. I thought it was fine. I know some people are complaining about Reigns making Strowman look weak and Strowman fleeing the scene and retreating and all that stuff. I thought it was alright. Strowman has been dominating Reigns for so long that Reigns really did need to have some sort of momentum in this feud with Strowman to make it a little bit more of a even playing field and give this impression that both of these guys are evenly matched, you know. It's not fun if it's just completely one-sided, and also I think if Reigns shows some strength and people see him as an equal, maybe he'll get a little bit less booed, because I don't think fans are going to buy into Reigns as this underdog. So you might as well try to portray them as equals as much as possible. I was okay with what they did given the circumstances. This one comes from Beast Slayer. Again, I have to censor the username. Maybe you might want to change it. Just saying. With Braun Strowman possibly being out for a while, what does that mean for Raw and Brock Lesnar? Great question. Right now, things are up in the air because even though there's an estimate that Strowman will be out of action for a month or 2 months, it's still unknown until he actually has the procedure how long he will be out of action. At the very least, it looks like he's missing the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, and possibly he's missing the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. Some people see this as a blessing in disguise, not the blessing from NoDQ, but the general term. Maybe WWE will go with somebody else for Great Balls of Fire. There are some people that feel that Strowman and Lesnar would have been wasted at a pay-per-view with such a stupid name as Great Balls of Fire. I think some fans out there think that this is actually better because WWE can do Strowman versus Lesnar at SummerSlam instead of Great Balls of Fire. Maybe somebody like Finn Balor now can step in and get that title shot. Maybe somebody else could get that title shot instead. And then WWE can do Reigns versus Strowman at SummerSlam. It's really interesting because it really changes everything that WWE had planned for the summer, especially if Strowman is going to be out for any extended period of time. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out now that Strowman is injured. It definitely hurts Strowman a little bit in the sense that he was building up this momentum. He was being built up for Brock Lesnar, and now he's hurt. And I got this one here from Calvin. What do you think of Bray Wyatt as the next challenger for Brock Lesnar? They've had unfinished business and he never got his rematch with Randy Orton. That's a good point. Bray Wyatt is entitled to a title rematch, even though it's not the WWE title. He could argue that he's owed a world title rematch, so therefore he should get a shot at the Universal title. But then again, a lot of guys are entitled to a match. If Goldberg ever comes back, he's entitled to one. Kevin Owens should be getting a world title rematch. And of course, I just mentioned Finn Balor. The thing is, if WWE did Bray Wyatt and Brock Lesnar, you guys know how it's going to end. You know Bray Wyatt ain't winning the Universal title from Brock Lesnar. I highly doubt it. So I think if WWE did do that match, Bray Wyatt would lose and fans would complain about it. They would say, hey, Bray Wyatt's losing yet again and being made to look bad and all that stuff. So I really feel like it's a no-win situation if WWE booked Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar. Yes, Bray would get a title shot, but he would probably lose the match. And fans are tired of seeing Bray Wyatt losing all these big, high-profile matches. So I'm not sure. I think it would be better to do Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar and get that out of the way, since Balor is entitled to his rematch, and then you could always have one of the heels interfere and cost Balor the match or something like that. This one comes from Brett. Is it just me, or does WWE creative team get lazy when they go overseas? Very lackluster. I feel that there are a few different reasons why the taped shows do not come off as strongly as the live shows. And let me explain.